Hi guys and girls, and welcome back to Zenith Minis. My name is Greg, and today we are doing a product review of KR's accessory cases. So these cases come with foam trays that are specifically designed to protect your hobby tools and your paintbrushes, and KR have very kindly provided me with some samples to go through with you today. So what we're going to do is have an overview of each product, and at the end I'm going to let you know if they're up to the task of protecting your very precious hobby accessories. Guys, here we have the KR Multicase container for your hobby tools. So this will hold things like your clippers, your mold line remover, your hobby knife, spare blades for your hobby knife, a small hand drill, all that good stuff. And what we're going to do is check out the case itself, then open it up and take a look at what's going on inside. So the first thing you notice, we've got the KR logo in the top left, and this container is metal, which is great because it means that everything on the inside is going to be extra safe and secure. And we've got this metal that runs around the edge. We've got extra reinforcement in the corners for any kind of knocks or drops, and it is quite lightweight as well. I mean, it's a small case, but even though it's metal, it is quite light, so it's going to fit into any kind of like backpack or bag or anything like that without much issue. You'll then notice we've got two halves to this case, so we've got a bottom and a top, and this is fastened by these four clasps going around the edges. So you're going to have to put a little bit of force to open them, which is great because it means that they're not just going to spring open on their own and everything come out when you're kind of transporting the case about. So we'll take the lid off, and then we've got this kind of soft velvety material in the top there, and here is the tray that's inside. So we're going to talk a little bit about the foam here. It is soft, but it is stiff as well. It is different to the, as far as I'm aware anyway, to the miniature foam. I mean, we're not looking to protect a paint job or like arms snapping off or things like that. We're more concerned with, I guess, keeping these tools in their compartments. So KR, I think, have mixed up the foam here to make it more suitable to the job of containing tools, which is absolutely great. And it's stuck then to the bottom of the case. So what I use this for then in the left, going from left to right, is I've got spare blades for my hobby knife there, some spare bases as well. Then I've got the Citadel mold line remover and some small hand drills here. So I got two different types and it fits both of them perfectly. And we've got this notch here as well, just to get your finger in, so nothing is too hard to kind of get out of their compartment. Then weirdly, I've got this toothbrush head, which I use just to clean out my model. You know, if I'm removing some mold lines and there's a bit of excess plastic, I kind of use this to clean that off. And I'm pretty sure this container wasn't made for this, but my toothbrush fits in absolutely perfectly in there, so I'm not going to complain about that. And then I've got the Citadel clippers, which again fit perfectly into that compartment. So overall, really great little tray. It'll protect your hobby tools, and there's a bit of flexibility in terms of what you keep in each slot as well. So what we're going to do now is move on to the brush case. So here is the paintbrush tray by KR Multicase, and as you can see, it's in exactly the same container as we've just discussed, so I'm not going to talk about that too much. We're going to focus on this tray that's specifically designed to keep your paintbrushes safe. So you'll notice we've got these 6 slots going on here to hold your brushes, and then we've got a miscellaneous slot down the bottom, and I just use this to hold a bit of green stuff and a spare pair of clippers. But in each of these slots then I've got a paintbrush and some sculpting tools, and as you can see, we've got these grips going down the center, and what they're designed to do is to make sure that your brushes aren't rattling about or moving out of their slots when you're transporting about. I mean, we spend enough probably on the brushes, we don't need them kind of like loose in a tray, and these grips will help prevent that. The other thing that's neat is we've got these flared spaces at the top of each of the slots. So you've got this gap down the bottom, which is handy because you can just get your finger in there and lift out a brush. And as you can see with these type of brushes, the large base brush by Citadel for example, there's a flatter, wider head going on there, which means you're going to need a bit more clearance when you put in the brush into the container. So this really helps the brush, I guess, fit more naturally in there, and it means then that the head isn't being squeezed together and the bristles and the brush isn't going to get damaged when you're transporting it about. You don't really need to worry about that too much with these finer detail brushes, which you can put these caps on, but definitely for things like that larger base brush, or we've got the dry brush. Let me bring this a little closer. You can see that it's a wider brush head and it fits nice and snugly into that slot. The other thing I used, as far as I mentioned, is I've got the sculpting tools. So you can probably fit more brushes on top of the bottom one. I don't tend to do that. I've just got my 5 brushes in there, and in the 6th slot I've just piled in these sculpting tools. They're metal, they're on top of each other. I don't really mind them getting banged about too much, but again, this is a great little case. So what I'm going to do now is move on to my final thoughts. So we've covered both cases, we've gone through the trays, but what is my honest opinion? Well, I think they're great little things. They're small, sturdy, lightweight, perfect for a convention or even taken to your local gaming store for a spot of painting. I've used mine now for about a month and it's been really helpful, even just storing the stuff in the house, getting it off the top of my desk, which means the cats can't chew the ends of my paintbrushes. Life is suffering, guys. The pain is real, and they're pretty inexpensive as well. If you want to check them out, the product links are in the video description below. And that marks the end of today's review. Really hope you've enjoyed. If you have, drop me a like, leave a comment below, let me know what you think, and subscribe if you want to. I'll be back next week with more videos, so I hope you'll join me for that. But until then, thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.